Welcome. We are so pleased that you are tuning in to learn about stormwater and the work of the Stormwater Task Force. What is stormwater? Stormwater refers to water that runs off after a rain or snowstorm, picking up litter, bacteria, chemicals, sand, and other debris as it flows over the land and into storm drains and water bodies. A picture is worth 1,000 words, so we'd like to illustrate the effects of stormwater runoff now with a demonstration. Today we are going to be using an enviroscape, a model of land area just as we would find here in Lunenburg. This enviroscape is a model of a watershed. A watershed is a land area that drains off into a particular body of water. The water that drains off is from rain and snowmelt. These waters that run off sometimes contain things that aren't great for the water. There are two sources of water pollution. Point source pollution, such as might come from a factory emitting pollutants right into the waterway. Think back to the Nashua River, looking all the different colors of the rainbow when the paper mills dumped their pollutants directly into it. Non-point solution is the other kind of pollution. These sources these non-point source pollution comes from construction sites, stream banks and lake shores, forests, plowed fields, lawns and golf courses, crops, highways, parking lots, manure, cows, and domestic animals. Now we're going to demonstrate these sources of pollutants. We have soil from the lake banks, from the fields, from construction sites. We have pesticides, again, from farms, from people's yards, construction sites, people's yards, and we also have fertilizers. Now, all of these things are not bad things. It's when they are used in excess. When people over-fertilize their lawns or fertilize their lawns just before it's going to rain. There is also oil and grease that ends up in parking lots and on roadways. As well as cow manure and dog droppings when people don't pick up the waste from their animals. Go for a walk in the woods with your dog and you don't pick it up, it runs off. Now, what happens during a rain or a snow melt event is, now we're going to have it rain. Raining, it's a good storm. And look where all of the pollutants are ending up. Why does this happen? Construction sites need silt fences or vegetative buffers so that the soil stays on site. When too much pesticide or fertilizer is used on lawns and golf courses, the excess nutrients that the plants can't absorb run off into the waterways. Cleared forest, plowed fields, bare banks of rivers, lakes, and streams erode right down into the waterway. Too much manure or pet waste that's discarded and left on the ground can easily run into the waterways. All these sources are potentially damaging because too much of these materials, nutrients, toxins, bacteria, are entering our waterways. Even the soil. These things can adversely affect fish life and aquatic plants. Too much nitrogen and phosphorus can cause sudden and excessive growth of aquatic weeds and plants, which can speed up the aging process of a lake eutrophication. Sediment, such as sand people put on their beaches, or the sand that's used in the winter to create a safe roads for travel, also end up in our waterways. Too much bacteria causes health risks and can make water bodies unfit for humans to use. Toxins found in runoff can make people sick. Fish can also ingest these toxins, ultimately affecting the whole food chain. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, and the Mass Department of Environmental Protection have come together and issued a permit that will require towns to do more to stop this pollution from entering our waterways, which you'll agree is a great idea. Our town has created a stormwater task force so that we can help figure out how we can stop a good deal of this pollution from entering our waterways and also come up with a way to pay for it. Stay tuned. Hopefully, you now understand the problem a bit better. Here's what we're planning to do about it. The Stormwater Task Force is charged with the development of a comprehensive stormwater management plan that complies with state and federal regulations, provides a storm and surface water system that controls damage from storms, protects surface water quality and the environment. The plan shall determine which local agency or agencies will be responsible for implementation, establish the estimated cost of the program, as well as provide for the creation of an ongoing funding source to enable its success. Who we are. The Stormwater Task Force is made up of 5 members. Myself, Matt Allison, who's the Planning Board Chair, Sarah Kammer, a high school environmental science teacher in nearby Lexington, Jack Rabbit, a conservation commissioner, and Jack Rodequins, the director of the Department of Public Works. The Stormwater Task Force was created by the Board of Selectmen. Our first meeting was in January 2016. At that meeting, Fred Sivian of the Mass Department of Environmental Protection outlined the new Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, or MS4, permit. Our organization encouraged the town to join the Central Mass Regional Stormwater Coalition, which we did in July of 2016. We are active members, and I am currently serving on the steering committee of that organization. They are the ones who lent us the Enviroscape we used in the demonstration. We began working with Design Consultants, Inc. in November of 2016 to create and file the new MS4 permit, which is due by October 2017. We are continuously working to plan education and outreach to the public. We strive to involve all stakeholders in the discussion and encourage resident participation. The EPA has defined the following 6 minimum control measures that are to be addressed by towns and cities in the MS4 permit. Public education and outreach. Public participation and involvement. Illicit discharge detection and elimination. Illicit discharge is defined by the EPA as any discharge to an MS4 region that is not composed entirely of stormwater. Home sump pumps would be an example. Construction site runoff control and post-construction runoff control. The last is pollution prevention, good housekeeping for all municipal operations. What you can do. You can create rain gardens to get stormwater back into the ground and beautify your surroundings. You can use a rain barrel. Rain barrels are put under downspouts to take up the water that comes off your roof. The town has a grant, and through this grant, we initially bought the rain barrels and compost bins, and we sell them for the price that we buy them for, so we can just switch off, use that money to buy more rain barrels and compost bins. They're available at the DPW, and it's a great way to save water, store compost in an economically and environmentally friendly way. Use fertilizers and pesticides sparingly. Fertilizers and pesticides are not bad, but they should never be put down shortly before it rains. They're just going to wash away. Educate yourselves on stormwater pollution prevention. We listed a couple websites that are also on the Stormwater Task Force website. Dig into these. They have lots of good ideas for you. Remember, simply by putting fewer pollutants on the land, we can keep stormwater runoff clean and improve local water quality. By greening our stormwater habits, we can keep our waterways blue. Please contact one of our members if you'd like to get more involved. Thank you for taking the time to listen.